Hope everyone's doing amazing out there. We're going to look at why reality, dreams, and the unconscious can be understood as complete illusions while still being absolutely concrete experiences while we are inside of them. We're going to talk about what happens when the constraints of reality are turned up or down and how that changes what we experience as stable, unstable, real, unreal, sane, dreamlike, or spiritual. So basically, this is about the deep value of non-realities, dreams, unconscious states, symbols, and inner experiences that may not be physically solid but still shape consciousness in very real ways. Have you ever awakened from a dream and for a few seconds it still felt real? I'm talking in the same basic way your waking life feels real while you are inside of it. That feeling is important because it raises a strange question. What actually separates waking reality from that of a dream? One major difference seems to be constraints. Waking life is constrained by sensory input. This gives the body the illusion of stability, where it senses the environment, objects, and interactions as stable or predictable. Other people confirm the same world back to us. This whole feedback loop is very convincing and unquestionable. Conversely, if it keeps shifting, changing, dissolving, we treat it as imagination, fantasy, dream, or instability. This is also why sanity is often measured by someone's ability to remain aligned with the shared constraints of waking reality. But the strange thing is that many spiritual traditions point in the opposite direction of this. Enlightenment, in this sense, is not about losing your mind. It's more like realizing that waking reality is not the ultimate reality. It is about seeing this whole experience in a whole timeless totality to eliminate or simply understand extraneous living and habits. You understand the constraints are false comfort, and they mask your endless potential. A dream, which is a broader term we'll call the unconscious from here on, is closer to the unconstrained end of that spectrum. In the unconscious, the world is not really constrained by physical senses. The body, identity, places, time, etc. are not fixed. Thought and reality become indistinguishable. This does not necessarily mean the unconscious is not real. It more so implies that constraints just seem to be key common elements that are missing. Waking reality also directly influences the unconscious because stability can be transposed into its awareness. This is why the unconscious can become more real when the waking mind becomes more stable. So stabilizing the mind is a way of adding structure to a less constrained reality. It works the opposite way around too. The unconscious and the higher mind are able to remove constraints and add amazing fantasy-like elements to your life. I want you to think in terms of Neptune and astrology for that. From this perspective, dreams and reality are completely separate. They can be thought of as two parts of the same spectrum varying by constraints. And life itself may follow a similar pattern because life begins almost like a dream. Consciousness inside of a helpless, uninformed body. As a baby, you are alive, aware, and experiencing, but you do not yet have language, identity, social conditioning, or a stable model of the world. The body is there, but the rules and functions are in the process of forming. Concurrently from the beginning, constraints are being added. Reality becomes more stable, simplifying perception and interactions through convenience. Over time throughout life, the dreamlike openness of early consciousness becomes shaped by identity, memory, culture, responsibility, age, and the physical body itself. Then, somewhere after midlife, the process seems to move in the opposite direction. You increasingly have to become reliant on your accumulated consciousness. It is now the stabilizer, your new identity. With the body ultimately becoming the final constraint, aging narrows physical ability. A person and their peers become more fixed in memory, habit, belief, etc. These collection of limits persuade consciousness to become more internal. Reality gradually and systematically turns back into thought, memory, symbols, and dreams. In that sense, life is like a cycle, and maybe what we call real is not the opposite of a dream. Maybe reality is simply the dream that became stable enough for us to forget it was a dream. I'd love to hear your thoughts, understandings, and even corrections on this. So you all take care of yourselves out there. I love and appreciate you. Until next time. Bye.